Well, the first things first. Why are we here? Right? Why did we decided to start creating this program and start developing all of this content? You know, the truth is that at the core of everything that we do is an experiential intuition. After 2020, well, just a little bit of context, 30 seconds of context. In 2019, I produced a big international festival. We took 20 artists from San Francisco to my hometown in Puebla, Mexico. And we called that project La Diaspora Festival, celebrating the diaspora of Latin American people in the United States. And everything was going pretty amazing. We had a big success, and we were thinking about taking the show to Texas and to Colombia and to, it was a big opportunity. A lot of energy was coming through. And immediately after COVID hit, everything broke. And a lot of the people that were collaborating with us started moving away from the Bay Area because they just simply did not have the money to live here. So it was at that moment that I realized that I could support my friends in just holding space for them, in applying for grants and funds, right? So we started doing pro bono coaching with people, and there was a certain moment where I realized that this was an actual contribution that we could give to other people. So that was the story of how we arrived to the first cohort. We had 5 people originally, and one of them, Andreina, who's one of my very good friends, got her grant, developed an amazing project working with domestic workers, developing a theater, a musical, and now this musical is being used across California to demand the rights of domestic workers and day laborers. So, it was a really big aha moment, a big inspiration for wanting to hold space for people so that they could come, develop their vision, develop their materials, develop their work, and really get their practice to the next level. In that regard, we are really trying to create content that is accessible for you if you are very new at grants, if you have never created a grant ever in your life, as well as if you are a seasoned grant writer artist. Like all of this information is created so that you can absorb a part of it at the level that you are. Okay, so don't worry if you don't get absolutely everything. With the support of your coach, either Therese or myself, you're going to be able to integrate some of this information, as much of this information as possible. And if you have to come back to another cohort, that's totally fine. That is completely fine. We actually receive a number of people. And the good news is that when people come back into the program, they do better. They finished the materials that they might have not finished the first time. And we see consistently people accessing funding. Actually, that was your case, right, Trey? You participated in the program a couple of times.
Yeah, I participated in cohort 10, and I felt like that I needed to really like sharpen my grant application a little bit more. And so I was also a part of tab 1 in cohort 11, and I was able to receive a $50,000 grant. So, yay.
Trey, can you just say what your grant's for?
My grant is for excuse me. My grant is for an event series called Healing Through Self-Expression, which is a 5-part series that hosts networking, artist talks, and just like a mixer environment for artists, photographers, fashion designers, et cetera, no matter what your medium is, to talk about healing, to get connections, and to just overall have a safe space to be. So, yeah, coming soon.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you. Yeah. So as you can see, the reason that we created this is to empower people just like you. That is why we, instead of making you fill an application, we instead just had an interview with you coming into the space. to see if we were like aligned in the vision that we have for arts and culture to be a tool for support of our communities, for the betterment of our communities. Now, it is important to say this, what to expect. Are you guys going to write my grant for me? No. I see Tabitha laughing. No, we're not going to write your grants for you. But we are going to make sure that we are checking your materials, that we're editing your materials, that we are sharing resources that you can research so that you can have inspiration for how your ideas can sound in a grant language. And we're basically going to create a baseline for you to be able to get to that finish line. Okay. Along the way, we built in a couple of tools because I like to say, and I like to say it often, when people come to us, they are often overworked, underpaid, and in the verge, if not deep into burnout. So we ask of your trust. We ask that you trust the methodology that we have created here. But why don't you have more, breakout rooms or break times or this or that? Trust us, we have been polishing this content 16 times now. It is at a good level. We believe in the quality of the content. And, whenever you have something that is very hard for you, that is why we have the coaching sessions for you to really lean into your coach and get the support that you need to pass that stopping point and to get to the next step in this journey. Another question that we hear very often is, will I have finalized my grant? Will I have a finalized grant by the time that we finish the program? Well, if you finish your grant, you will. It is important that I tell you that we have paced this program in a way that is doable, right? We're not going to ask you to write all of your grant from one week to the other. Every week, we're going to give you a new portion of the grant. And it is important that you engage with that portion and that for that week, that you develop that portion of the grant. This week, we're going to be doing your artist bio and your artist narrative. Okay, for that week, that is all that matters, okay? Don't worry about your work samples. Don't worry about your resume. We will have time for that. But for that week, if you focus on the portion of the grant that you need to focus on, at the end of the time together, you're going to have all of your portions of the grant and you're going to have a cohesive grant put together. Next question. Can you assure me that I will get a grant if I take this training? Unfortunately, my friends, I cannot assure you that. What happens in the space of the Arts Collab is not that you get a grant. What happens in the space of the Arts Collab is that you write your grant, that you write your grant application, that you write your project. Now, with that project written, now we can start applying for grants. A lot of times you're going to have a really amazing competitive grant. And if you don't get your grant in the first iterations, in the first applications that you do, we're going to support you in continuing polishing your content until it gets to a nice level that is fundable. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is because the funding programs, the grant funding programs, the prize funding programs, including grants, fellowships, residencies, everything that is competitive amongst artists is not equitable. What do I mean by this? I mean that it's not always the person that is more prepared, that is more capable, that is more committed, is not always the person that gets the funding. Generally speaking, the person that gets the funding, the artist that gets the funding, is the artist that has the best wording on how they're going to be setting their goals, achieving their goals, is the artist that gets the most competitive work samples, is the artist that gets the clearest resume. And you're here to get that. And you're here to get the most competitive work samples, you're here to get the clearest resume, etc., etc. Another question, can I start making a living from grants? No, I would not suggest you to think that. because of the same nature of the grant writing and the grant prices, you will not know that you're going to get all the grants that you apply for. A good ratio of success is a 30 to 50%. If you're getting 30 to 50% of the grants that you are applying for, you are killing it. Like for real, you know? It doesn't mean that that we should not rely on this funding. I think it's fair to say if you commit to polishing your materials and to continue developing them, you're gonna start accessing not only grants but also additional funding opportunities, and this is ultimately going to allow you to get into spaces, into connections with people, into a relationship with not only grants but money in general. You know, as artists, we have a very strong relationship with money, and we have been developing that relationship through generations, right? How do we charge for our work? How do we save money? How do we pay other people for their work? How do we compensate others, right? So in this space, we're going to be taking a deeper look into our relationship with money and other kinds of resources. And we are going to be, first and foremost, questioning them with curiosity instead of judgment. That is the most important thing. And secondly, healing from those narratives that do not serve us, healing from those narratives that make us feel disempowered, that make us feel ostracized, that make us feel marginalized. You know, you are the protagonist of your life, and we are here to elevate that lens for you and to empower you to live that life. You know, we see all the potential in you. We see all the potential in every single one of you, and that's where, you know, that's why we had this one-on-one conversation. Okay, so what do you do with your practice? Who are you serving through your practice? What is the work that you want to get funded? That's all. Those are all questions that we wanted to see if we were aligned in our hearts, so that now we can tell you, hey, this is doable. We can do this. We have been doing this for 4 years. We have trained 180 artists, and all of our artists combined have raised over $2 million. And now it's more because we just heard of a couple of people who just got funded. So it is possible, and we're doing it together. But we need to, in particular, in this moment in history, I cannot stress this enough, and you're going to be hearing me say this a lot more now. But in this moment of history, it is our sacred calling as artists to create narratives that empower people's hope. The hope in this world is in a very stressful time, and it is our job as artists to keep that hope alive. We believe in art creation as a human right. Art creation. Not only art, because it's very pretty when you get to come into a museum or into the lobby of a hotel and watch a painting, and it's beautiful, right? Yes. But what drove the artist to create that painting was the notion that they could look around their context, their community, their society, and say something about it. And that is what we want you to do. We want you to have something to say about the conditions that your community experience, the conditions that that affect your reality. Because why? Because that is the only way that we can assure that people are going to really take a look around and start saying something, right? And if you see something that is broken around you, well, let's try to fix it. You know, let's try to offer an alternative for it. And little by little, we're going to start to create systemic change. And I believe that that's why we are here to do. What energy are you bringing into the results that you are getting? Just take a moment with that question. What energy are you bringing into the results that you are getting? And with that, I am just going to ask you this. Why are you here? I'm gonna invite everybody to write in the chat. Why are you here? You know, it can be a simple idea, it can be a word or two words. Let's take a moment. Okay. Take a moment to write, why are you here? Nice. To take my artistic practice to the next level, liberation, hope, joy. What else? Faith. Wow. Woo! Thank you, Claudia. Trust. Thank you for the trust. To learn and to grow. Edilia and Yajaira, when you guys are ready, we would love to see your beautiful faces. No pressure, but I want to say hi. To learn different perspectives. I am here to build, to deepen my relationship to my art and community, to learn how to approach this process in the most authentic way. Porque tengo ganas to learn. I'm feeling like I want to learn, to grow and make myself value and my art's value. To be more self-sufficient so I can redistribute resources to those who need it more than those who generally have it. To understand how grants work here, and most importantly, to grow in different ways for dreams become reality. Yes, for dreams become reality. Woo! To support y'all. Yes, of course, 1000%.
Why are you here, Arturo?
Because it's a beautiful Saturday morning, you know.
See? Yes, and
Yes, and because I am in awe of the power of artists. I get surprised often about the things that people can do when they believe. So that's why I'm here. And I want to go to our next part, and please do continue populating here. You know, if you want at this point or later. Actually, we're gonna have time later, but you can include your Instagram handle over here. You know, you can just interact with people, say hi to people. You know, and if you know anyone in the space already, you can send them a private message. You know, we're just here to build community.